Hey, what's up guys? Tech for Daddy back with another review. Today I have the iPad Pro Magic Keyboard that I've been using for roughly 2 weeks. I thought I'd give you my thoughts on it, what I like, what I don't like, and also a comparison with the Smart Folio keyboard, so let's get into it. Now, there are a million different reviews on this product already, and it's only been out just a few weeks, so I'm not going to do specs or anything like that because I'm sure you've seen those already. But what I will do is just give you my honest opinion of it, what I like and what I don't like, and then also give you just a little comparison with the Smart Folio keyboard. So after using the iPad Pro Magic Keyboard for a couple weeks, there is a lot of things that I really love about it. Starting off with the keys. Now, a lot of people will say that this is a great keyboard for a tablet case or for an attachable case, but I say that this is the most comfortable keyboard I have ever used on any device. Apple finally went back to the scissor switch keyboards on their latest MacBooks, which have gotten really great reviews. And luckily, they put that new keyboard on this Magic Keyboard. There's really no comparison between the keyboard on the Smart Folio case and the Magic Keyboard case. It is night and day to type on. The keys have great travel, a very satisfying click, and multiple levels of backlighting, and there is also a light on the cap locks key to let you know that it's on finally. Even on the 11-inch model, the keyboard was comfortable to type on and it didn't feel cramped. The second thing I love about this is the trackpad. Now, this one surprised me a bit because I never thought I would want or use a trackpad on an iPad. I mean, the entire thing is basically a trackpad, so why would I use a separate one? But maybe it's just the muscle memory from using laptops my entire life, but I love using the trackpad on an iPad Pro. Apple did a great job adding cursor support for a trackpad or mouse in recent software updates. Again, it just makes it feel more like a computer, and it also keeps the screen free from finger smudges. I find myself using both the trackpad and the screen to navigate, depending upon what I'm doing. If I'm zooming in on an image, I'll use the touchscreen. If I'm copying and pasting text, I use the trackpad, and so on. I also like the subtle little animations when you hover over an app and how you can easily jump from one to the next with a little swipe. The trackpad has a very nice click to it, and the nice thing is you can click anywhere on it to register a click, not just the front of it. Now, there is a bit of a learning curve using a cursor on iOS or iPad OS, and not all the kinks have been fully worked out, but I'm really enjoying this feature so far. Another thing I love is the sturdiness of this case. Now, this case feels like it could survive being left outside in a Category 5 hurricane. The outside is made of the same gray rubbery material as the Smart Folio keyboard, for better for worse, but the internals are rock solid. The hinges are very smooth and incredibly sturdy. It takes a good amount of force to open the case and then tilt it into position, but once in position, there's no wobble or loose parts. Even when sitting on my lap, it feels very stable. The iPad is held very securely by multiple magnets on the back. I feel confident picking up the keyboard and bringing it somewhere without the iPad falling out. In short, this case just feels like it's built to last for many, many years. There are just a few things that I wish were changed just a little bit, and you can call these things nitpicky, but when you're paying a premium price, you expect a lot. And so here are a few things I'm not exactly thrilled about, but can definitely live with. I think it's really great that they added the pass-through charging port to the Magic Keyboard. It keeps the charging cord down by the desk and allows you to use the USB-C port on the iPad for external devices, but I really wish this port could do more than just charge the iPad. It would have been really nice to connect my SD cards or external monitor using the keyboard USB-C. I fully understand that this data may not be possible to transmit through the smart pins, but a guy could wish, right? Another thing is that the hinges don't allow the iPad to be tilted back too far. Now, it does tilt back far enough for almost all situations, but it would have been nice to be able to tilt it back a little further for more viewing angles or for drawing with the Apple Pencil. Also, one thing I did like about the Smart Folio keyboard was the ability to flip the keyboard behind the iPad and use it as a tablet while keeping the back protected. It is easy to disconnect the iPad Pro from the Magic Keyboard, but then you're left with two separate pieces to keep track of and you lose the back protection. Another thing, look, the iPad floating over the keyboard is great and it looks really cool. It brings the iPad closer to the user so it's still easy to interact with your fingers. However, when it is tilted back to its farthest position, the bottom of the iPad Pro hovers over the number row a little bit. This makes it a bit awkward to try to hit a number key as you're trying to sneak your fingers between the bottom of the iPad and the keyboard. My fingers sometimes hit the bottom of the iPad when I'm trying to use a number key. May not happen to you, but I thought I'd mention it. So those are just a few things that I would hope and want in the next iteration of this keyboard. Now, there are a few things that I really dislike and I really hope they change in future iterations. The first one being the weight. One of the things that makes the iPad Pro one of the most versatile products on the market is the combination of computing power mixed with portability. Now let this sink in. This keyboard case weighs more than the iPad Pro itself. The iPad Pro 11-inch weighs 1.05 pounds, and this iPad Pro Magic Keyboard case weighs 1.32 pounds. And it's an added heft that is very noticeable when carrying around for a long time. Also, I don't really agree with those saying that the added weight makes it feel more premium. The iPad Pro itself is one of the most premium feeling devices on the market without the added weight, so I believe they could trim some of the weight off this keyboard and still have a very sturdy product. The other thing, and you probably knew this one was coming, is the price. The iPad Pro Magic Keyboard goes for $299 for the 11-inch and $349 for the 12.9-inch. That's close to 40% of the actual cost of the iPad itself. That pushes this combo of iPad and keyboard into the $1,000 plus range. And as much as I love the iPad, and I know that these two things are geared towards different audiences, but there are a lot of great computers that you can buy in that range. Most notably, a new MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro. Okay, those things aside, I really like the iPad Pro Magic Keyboard, but because of the price tag, I would only recommend it to certain people. So if you are already someone that owns the Smart Folio keyboard and you only use it to occasionally type emails and notes and that sort of thing, I would probably say you could save your money and not upgrade. But if you are someone who types a lot or have not yet purchased a keyboard for your iPad Pro and you want to, I would recommend going with the Magic Keyboard. And this is because the typing experience is just so much better on the Magic Keyboard that I think it justifies the extra costs, especially if you're going to be using it a lot. Now, when comparing this to the Smart Folio keyboard, there is really no comparison when it comes to typing experience. One has very nice keys with great travel and backlighting, while the other one has squishy keys that have like a weird felt over the top of them and no backlighting. And don't get me wrong, the Smart Folio keyboard is serviceable for writing short things like emails and notes, but if you're going to be writing for long extended periods of time, you're going to want the Magic Keyboard. In terms of build, the Magic Keyboard feels very rigid, it feels very sturdy, and like it will never fall over. The Smart Folio keyboard is a little bit more flimsy and a little bit less stable. In terms of thickness, they are roughly the same. If anything, the Magic Keyboard is just a hair thicker than the Smart Folio keyboard, and the Smart Folio keyboard is a little bit lighter than the Magic Keyboard. So the main things that are added to the Magic Keyboard that are missing from the Smart Folio keyboard are the pass-through charging port, the backlighting on the keys, and the trackpad. There are just a couple things that I do miss about the Smart Folio keyboard, and one was the versatility of it. Like I said earlier, the ability to flip the keyboard around to the back and use it as a tablet while having the back protected is a very nice feature that I do miss. Second is the weight. The Magic Keyboard is noticeably heavier than the Smart Folio keyboard, so I do miss how light it was. A couple things I'm not missing is how flimsy it was taking the iPad out of the case, and just the general weirdness it was to kind of fold it into position sometimes. So overall, I think the iPad Pro Magic Keyboard is probably the best attachable keyboard on the market right now. Is it perfect? No, but we're getting very, very close, and I'm really excited to see the future iterations of this device. Listen guys, I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.